Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. This is Paul Finck, and we are getting started. I need to hear you. Dun, dun, dun. All right. I believe I hear you. Do you hear me? Anything? How's that? Does that help? Test, test, test. I don't hear you. I don't hear you. I think I need to hear you. Yes, no. One, two, 1, 2. I'm getting an echo.
Can you hear me now?
I can indeed.
Hey, I had the wrong mic on the sharing.
Of course.
So sorry about that. I don't know why.
Always ready to blame me.
I wasn't. No, it was on me. That was all my fault. It gave me a choice of 3 microphones. I only have one plugged in, so I don't understand that one.
Oh, welcome to technology. It has a mind of its own.
Indeed. Well, I'm ready to roll if you are.
We are indeed. So
right.
Let's rock it.
Let's crank this thing up.
Now, broadcasting on Radio Star Worldwide, it's the Maverick Difference Radio Show with Paul Finck. When you want to step up and dare to be different, when you'll dare to be great and live to your fullest potential, when you are ready to dare to be a maverick and live the life of your dreams, then it's time to listen to Paul Finck.
How you doing, everyone? This is Paul Finck, the Maverick Millionaire, and this is the Maverick Difference Radio Show, and we are discussing time and how it relates to your income. I am here at the Maverick Difference every single week, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And the whole focus of this show is to get you on task, get you clear, get you determined to create a great life and do it the Maverick way. And why the Maverick way? The Maverick way, as I've studied entrepreneurs throughout the millennium, and that's right, there have been entrepreneurs since the beginning of man, I believe. The caveman sold tools to each other, at least bartered them. We're talking about creating your own destiny, creating the life that you want on your terms. And that's what a Maverick does. And as I've studied these entrepreneurs over the millennium, studied the highly successful, there are certain components, certain keys with which task, tools, just key components that they use, that they focus in on, principles, values, skill sets, that Mavericks have become connected with, that have made all the difference in their life, that have created the life that they have, that we all look at, go, wow, look at the life that they're living. And we're talking about people like Richard Branson and even Steve Jobs and Bill Gates and some of the people that have reached just highly successful, highly acclaimed levels in their career as well as in their personal life, just creating a magnitude out there. And what did they do different? And that's what this show is dedicated to, is what can you do different? What can you do that would make the difference in your future, in everything that you have that that would really create that magnitude for what you have, that magnitude for what you want, that dream? What is it? So one of the key components that is so clear, one of the key components that makes the huge difference with everything in your life is, well, how you spend your time. And today the show is entitled Hourly Wages for Chumps. That's right, hourly wages for chumps. And what I mean by that is that when you're paid by the hour, no matter what that hourly price tag is, whatever you charge for your hour, it's usually going to be undervaluing who you are and what you're about. And we're going to talk about some of those components. It's interesting, Nate. You know, you hear tons of stories, and I want to share a couple with you about what time really means, what it's all about. For instance, you know, imagine this, that Picasso is there in the middle of a great area that is open, and so a whole lot of different people selling their wares and different vendors, and woman's walking through the marketplace, and Picasso is there actually painting. And she asked Picasso, one of the famous painters, how much is the painting, or more precisely, I want a painting done for myself. How much do you charge per hour? He says, $5,000. She said, $5,000? That's outrageous. Why so much? It takes you an hour. You can whip it off and just do it. Why would that be so much money? And he just turns around and says, because it's not about the time I'm spending now. It's about the time I've spent over my lifetime to learn this craft. This is a lifetime of experience that you're getting within this hour. Not just the results I'm producing in that hour. I want you to begin to consider what your experience is worth, what your knowledge is worth, what your lifetime of accumulating this information is worth, and begin to value your time in that way. It's just one of the shifts that I want you to create in your life. So what's an hour worth to you? What is your hour worth now? Suppose you've got a position. Suppose you've got a job. Well, a lot of people, they're being paid by the salary. They're being paid annually. And so they really never figured it out by the hour. You're in those positions where you're still being paid by the hour. I want you to consider you're trading your time for money. And so you're getting paid $10 an hour. You're trading an hour of your time for $10. You're getting paid $20 an hour, same thing. Well, what if you're getting paid at an annual rate? Here's one way to figure it out. 40 hours a week is what we traditionally look at in time. So 40 hours a week, and let's say, now you may not be working this many hours, but let's just say that you were working 50 weeks out of the year for 40 hours a week. And so you're looking at around 2,080 hours for the year. So what if you take that and you take your annual salary, you divide it by 2,080 hours, and that would be your hourly rate. So $50,000, you would make approximately $25 an hour. If you're making $100,000 in income for the year, you're earning approximately $50 an hour. And I'm doing rough numbers. You can do the division and divide it by 2,080 hours and come up with the exact. And even that is a rough number, considering that some people aren't working 40 hours. Some people are working 50 hours or 60 hours. Some people are working 30 hours. In addition to that, you usually are taking off a couple weeks out of the year. And so it's not 50 or 52. It might be 48, et cetera. So these are rough numbers, and I round them to round numbers. So it's $25 for $50,000 income. It's $50 for $100,000 income. What if $500,000, $500,000 is the income that you're going for? $500,000 is income you're going for, or it's what you already are making. You're earning approximately $250 an hour. To create $1 million status, you need to be making over $500 an hour. You want to be a multi-millionaire, you need to be thinking in terms of $1,000+ an hour. This just gives you some idea of where you're going with this, what you're doing. You want to create that magnitude. You want to create that abundance. You've got to be really dialed in as to what your value is worth. Are you worth $10, $20, $30, $50? What are you worth an hour? Now, there's a couple of ways to shift this. Once you get an idea of what you're worth an hour. So let's assume that you're making $50,000 a year. So your hourly rate is approximately $25 an hour. Okay, so now what, Paul? What's that mean? Well, you're worth $25 an hour. And, well, you've got a task that you've got to do, and it's going to take you 2 hours to do it. Well, that task is now going to be valued at $50. So the question is, should you do it? Are you going to get $50 of value by trading your time for money? So now you're trading your money for time. You are saying, I'm spending 50, which to earn that, to bring that in, I would have had to spend 2 hours. So now I'm going to spend 50. I'm going to spend 2 hours to get 50. So now I'm spending 50. Is that 50, the value that you're getting for that 50, worth the 2 hours that you spent to earn it? So in addition to that, you've got other tasks, and that's where I was going a minute ago. You have other tasks that you would do. Well, those other tasks, instead of doing that task, you could be spending that time to make another hour, $25 or $50 for a 2-hour task. Are you making those decisions based on that trade-off? So often, people undervalue who they are. So they go to work and they're working for someone and they're earning $15 an hour, $20 an hour. And they know that other people are making more than they are. They know that they could be shifting up where they work, how they're working, what they're doing, and make even more. However, they don't believe that they're worthy. They don't believe that they are worth that extra money, and so they never consider charging for it. They never consider asking their boss for the raise. They never consider actually going forth and considering other positions or other jobs that can use their skill sets more profoundly. They never consider moving outside of their comfort zone to create more. It's an old expression, the challenge with creating a great life is having a good life. Some people are just so set, so comfortable with where they're at that they don't realize that they're still undervaluing where they are and that they could be doing so much more, be so much greater. So one of the first things I'm talking about here is your mindset, is what's your belief system on what you're worth? Are you worth $50 an hour? Are you worth $100 an hour? Are you worth $250 an hour? What's the limit? What's the end game? Where do you see yourself as your highest potential? Now, there are some people that actually overvalue who they are. And I want to talk about those people for a moment. So there are some people that I've experienced that they've got a job and they're looking to bring in other income, and they haven't figured out how to make more money in their current job, so they've got to go elsewhere and get a part-time job somewhere else. Well, to get that part-time job, they're looking all around and saying, well, I'm worth $50. I'm worth $100 an hour, and this part-time job is only paying me $15 an hour, so I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to do that extra job. I'm not going to go and spend that effort. Are they right? Are they wrong? What makes sense? I got to tell you, it depends on what the trade-off is. So they want to earn some extra income, so they go and look for a part-time job. Okay. They go and look for a part-time job, and it's paying them less than their full-time job is paying them per hour. However, maybe they don't have a lot of, maybe family or friends that they're spending time with, or maybe there's a lot of extra time in their life to do these other things. Do they spend it hanging out in front of the TV, or do they go and spend it on that part-time job? You see, the value is worthy versus what you're going to do instead of. The opportunity costs, we call it. So the trade-off isn't just I'm worth $50 an hour because that's what I'm getting paid in box A. So when I go to box B or my second job, I better be paid $50 an hour or forget it. And I want to caution you that, well, that's not necessarily true unless what you're doing elsewhere is also paying you $50 an hour or worth to you $50 an hour. There are some days where I feel okay earning a little bit less. Maybe it's something I really love to do. Maybe it's something that will have other benefits long term. And so I cannot absolutely determine how much the price tag is, what I'm going to get paid for that time spent. And I'm projecting it out and saying, over time, it will give me back my $50 or $100 or $1,000 an hour, which is more like it for me. What's the time worth? And you've got to balance it out. So there are times, for instance, where I've taken extra work, extra opportunities, where I've gone out and done extra projects, where I didn't get paid up front anything close to my hourly wage, anything close to the component of what I would value my time for. Because I was looking long term, I was looking at other components to it, other relationships I was building, whatever the case may be, there are other things to consider. And so I was willing to work for less. And I've gone in and I've done different tasks where I was paid a lot less, 10% of what I normally would get paid per hour, just to have the experience, to go and have the connections, to go and see the possibilities. So it's interesting, even me with my level and the level I play at, that I'll still go and do those extra opportunities and get paid a lot less. And yet I'll be coaching people. And yes, I do coach. For those of you that may not realize, I coach all around the country and around the world. I coach people on how to be this maverick, how to build their life on their terms, their way, how to create it so that they're in control and they can do whatever they want. Create it so that they can have this magnitude in their life. And so I coach on multiple different ways, one-on-one and groups. I coach with whole companies. I go in and do trainings. I've got a training coming up, matter of fact, this coming weekend, October 14th through the 16th. It's coming up right around the corner. And I train on how to get out of your own way and how to become that entrepreneur you always wanted to do. For any of you that want to check out some of my training, go ahead and go to MaverickSellingToday.com, MaverickSellingToday.com. Go ahead and check that out. You'll see dates as to where I am all around the country, and look forward to seeing you there the next time around. So I've got a training coming up. Now, in between my own boot camps, in between my trainings, I've got some extra time on my hands. And so I go and support other speakers. I support other organizations. And I'll go and do that for a lot less than my normal hourly wage, because it builds up my network. It builds up opportunities. It connects me with the people I want to connect with. And it just is what I love to do. But it's a decision. It's a conscious decision to make it happen. How are you spending your time? How are you spending your day-to-day existence? And is it keeping in mind how much your time is worth? I want you to realize that for those of you that are absolutely in an hourly wage type of position. Now, that could be you're making $10 an hour, $20 an hour, $50 an hour. I want to talk about, and later on in this hour, I'm going to touch on the whole concept of hourly wage. So when you're in the lower spectrum, so $10, $20 an hour, I want you to get that you are undervaluing who you are and where you're at. I want you to get that you haven't figured out the skill sets needed to go and quantum leap, to go and start charging more. And so when you're on that lower spectrum, that 10, 15, even $20 an hour, I want you to consider, what are your skill sets, and do you need to beef up your skill sets? Do you need to beef up, what you have that's marketable what skill sets you have that you can translate into a better position, a better job. Because possibly that's where you're at, where you need to beef up those skill sets, where you need to go and really get focused on, well, what's my experience level? What am I good at? And how can I get better at those things so I can start earning or charging even more for what you are, for what you have. And so first we need to get clear with our mind and our mindset, and get clear with our own value, that yes, I'm worth more. Yes, I'm interested in putting forth the effort and time to create more. And then we got to take inventory of our skill sets. Are we in a place where we have skill sets that are marketable, that we have skill sets that we could bring to the table, that we could bring to the open market and sell for more, so that we now are making more money per hour, if you will. For those people on the other side of the spectrum, for those people that are making $200, $300 an hour, $100 an hour even, we're talking about high-end professionals. We're talking about attorneys and financial planners. And there are often these people that, well, they're charging a lot. Let's take attorneys. They'll charge $100, $200, $250 an hour. And you go, wow, look at what they're charging an hour. They have one challenge. And I coach with people that are in that position where they're making good money, but they're stuck, they're stopped. They have a real ceiling because they're still trading, their time for money. They're still doing that automatic equation where they trade in an hour, they get X amount of dollars back. And there's no debating it. They trade in an hour, they get their 150. They trade in another hour, they get another 150. And so they're on this treadmill of trading time for money. How do you shift that up? How do you change that so that, well, you actually have control of your time. You actually have control of who you are, where you're at, and what you're doing. Stop trading time for money. I'm going to talk about, after this break, some of the components on how to really shift up your whole thinking about time and money. How to shift up how you package yourself up, or how you get paid for the time you spend. And that's one of the major ways that I shifted from making that $25, $50, even $100 an hour to be making a whole lot more per hour, because I shifted up this mindset and I began to realize how to create something different and a different equation than time for money direct equation, so that I could create an exponential growth in my income. We're going to talk about that right after this. I'm going to take a break. And like I said, when I come back, I want to talk about how you can create an exponential growth in your income, how you can get clearer with your time money equation, so that we can get this whole thing dialed in and you can begin to really, 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 really make more, create more, have more, and be in control of it all. We're going to talk about that right after this. This is Paul Finck.
This is the Maverick Difference Radio Show with Paul Finck. We'll be back right after this. At Lavish Lifestyle Vacations, the experience of a lifetime awaits. When everything is included, all your troubles disappear. Imagine a perfect family holiday without the usual stress, or a romantic getaway where luxury and indulgence surrounds you. Eat, drink, dance, swim. Escape, relax, explore, reconnect, and rejuvenate. The perfect all-inclusive holiday is just a few clicks away. Book your amazing affordable deal at lavishlifestylevacations.com for as low as $99 per person per day. Why just take the same old stress-filled trip when you can vacation like a millionaire? Leave all your troubles behind and create memories you'll dream of for a lifetime. Start living for family, for romance, for adventure, for yourself. All-inclusive dining, drinks, and entertainment designed for couples, families, destination weddings, and any other joyous occasion. Just a few clicks away. at lavishlifestylevacations.com. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram at lavishlifestylevacations.com. You're listening to Paul Finck and the Maverick Difference Radio Show. Now, here's Paul.
Welcome back. This is Paul Finck, the Maverick Millionaire, and this is the Maverick Difference Radio Show. And we are talking about hourly wage is for chumps. And I titled it that because A, wanted to get your attention, and B, I wanted you to realize that no matter what your hourly wage is, you're in trouble. It doesn't matter whether it's $10 an hour or whether it's $100 an hour or $200 an hour, you're in trouble. As long as your income is dependent on you spending time and there's no getting away from it, every minute that you spend, you get money, X amount of dollars back. There's no way to change that formula, and you're always going to have a ceiling. You want to get to be a high income producer, you get clear with creating high income value and perceived value, which is separate from time, so that you can deliver value without spending more time. For instance, let's take some simple things that would make sense. You write a book. Well, you write a book and you put it out into the marketplace. Well, every time that book sells, you're making money, which means you spend the time once, and for the rest of your life, wherever that book sells, you make money. You're not spending any more time. The book is selling on its own. So that makes sense. So you spent the time once and you get paid over and over and over again. That's the formula that works to build wealth. So how else could you do it? Other information marketing is really key. You put together, for instance, I put together this radio show. Well, this radio show isn't just for the radio show. I'm doing a video recording as well. I do a video recording and I do an audio recording, and I'm putting together training and I'm delivering it through this radio show. Well, can I take this video, take this audio, and, well, save it and put it out in another format that may not be called my radio show, or it is the best of my radio show, and I put it out there in a package? Could I sell that over and over and over again to create more income? Yes. I spend the time once and I get paid again and again and again. For any of you in multi-level marketing, that's one of the key components of building wealth through multi-level marketing, is that you build your team, you build your organization, and then the team keeps building while you're on vacation. And so you get this residual income coming in over and over and over again, ongoing, from the time that you spent initially, and then you continue to get paid for the rest of your life, or as long as you can with that particular company or that particular organization. So there's an ongoing process of, I do the work once and then I keep getting paid. You see an attorney that charges by the hour. They do the work, they get paid the hourly wage. They do the work, they get paid the hourly wage. There is a trade-off of exact time for exact dollars. Everything, these other examples I'm talking about are exponential, where you spend the time once and every day that goes by, you're able to make more and more and more return on that time investment. It's key. That is key to building real wealth. So how can you do this in other ways? You build a business that ends up, yes, you're working on it. However, as you build the business, it creates a certain value. The business itself builds in value. You create a certain process and system that you don't have to be there all the time, and the business is still bringing in money. It's why franchises work really well when you can delegate the positions in the, for instance, the store or the For instance, you buy a Subway franchise. Well, the Subway franchise, the workers in there are $10 an hour workers. You can get $10 an hour workers to work there, and you can disappear, and the business is still bringing in money. The business still has value and still bringing in income while you're not sitting in the seats, while you're not trading your time for money in that particular day. Really powerful. How can you do it other ways? And one of the key components, for instance, and I know I've got a ton of coaches and speakers out there, people that do similar to what I do. One of the key ways to build success in that market, to build success in that industry, and this applies across the board, is learn to bundle. Learn to bundle and package up your products and services so that you're not trading dollars for hours. Many coaches, and I see this in, for instance, in the therapy world. You're a counselor, you're a therapist, and you charge by the hour. You're even a massage therapist or a physical therapist, and you'll charge by the hour. A physical trainer, you'll charge by the hour. So someone is interested in getting physical training, they'll say, all right, so what's your hourly wage? And so how many hours per week do we need to work? And I'll pay you that. And it'll be $10 or $20 an hour. Well, great. What if you didn't charge by the hour? Maybe you charge by the package or by the results. So physical trainer, I get you to 10% body fat, 2% body fat. I get you to a certain criteria. To get you from here to there is going to cost you X amount of dollars. You pay that up front. Whatever amount of time it takes, that's what we do. Or how about this? I design a program for you which isn't related to a specific hour. That program means I'm going to be spending X amount of time with you. It also means you're going to get access to some other online training. You're going to get access to some material I produced, which talks about your nutrition and your the way to measure your body fat, the way to measure your results. I lay out your meal plan for the week, and all that I did in advance. I did once and I put it online. Now I'm able to charge for that bundle of product at a higher price, even though half the services, half the package are in things that I did a while back. It's still valued to the new client, and because of that, they're willing to pay for it. And so I've done it once. I've put it in video. I've put it in online access. I put it in various places. They paid once. Now I'm able to benefit by selling it over and over again and bundling it into a package of live physical training, live where I'm spending hours, but I'm charging more than I normally would be able to charge when I was only selling it by the hour. Really key. When I began to bundle up my programs, I started off by charging, and here's a certain amount of hours for a certain amount of price tag. And I began to bundle things up with a variety of different services, different support, different value added components. I was able to increase my price and get more per hour of my actual time per client. Just pay attention to those things, because that's what will make the difference. You want to go from here to here. These are the things that you want to consider. How else can you increase your time? Bundling is really key. Owning your own business, I kind of brushed over that, only absolutely. You're building this business up. You've got to have a business of your own, because you're going to be able to make more money in your time spent. I also would say that you've got to learn to delegate. You've got to learn to delegate. You've got to learn to value your time and to realize every moment that you spend doing things that are, I joke around, below your pay grade. Well, this is really key when you're making and you are professed to making or projected to make, depending on your situation, $100, $150, $200 an hour, even $50 an hour. And you're running errands, you're doing your own laundry, you're doing your own shopping. Unless you really love these things to do, why would you do it? Because you can do so much more during that time and create even more value for yourself, your family, your community, everybody around you. When you dial this in and get really clear, your time is worth something. There was a great movie years ago, and then there was a revamping of it recently. Logan's Run was from my generation. Newest was Justin Timberlake was In Time. And the In Time movie was all about, from the moment that you were born, you had until you were 25. On your 25th birthday, the real clock starts ticking. And the real clock was imprinted, embedded in your arm. This is what you were born with. And at 25, you had this clock, and it was your wealth and your worth. When the clock went down to zero, you died. How would you like to know? And in this movie, it was from the age of 25 on, only for any of us. How would you like to know when lights out? How would you like to know the exact second you were going to check out? Would it make a difference on how you valued your time? Would it make a difference on how you spent your time? Those people that actually hear that, the doctor tells them, you've got 6 months to live at best. People get really clear with, all right, how am I spending today? Am I going to waste it? Am I going to just do nothing, or am I going to do something? They get really clear with what nothing and something, what the definitions of that looks like. In the movie, it ended up that they could trade their time. So they had a certain amount of time left in their life, which was designated, only they could trade their time, and the time became their currency. So they'd go to get a cup of coffee. Okay, that would be 5 minutes. They go and get a dinner. That would be an hour and a half. Whatever the case may be, everything they wanted, all the services, all the products, was traded in time. And so they really started they got clear with, and in the movie, that was the whole premise, they got clear with the value of time. What would you do when you were getting that clear that, well, I go and buy this thing. Whatever I spend on it is going to take days off of my life. Is it worth buying it? And how about this? When I trade my time, am I getting more back in time? So when I go and work for an hour, am I getting more than an hour of my life? Or am I getting less? What's that value look like? So I want you to get really clear. So for instance, there are things I've learned to delegate. I've learned to realize that errands for me are something that I probably shouldn't be doing unless I really want to just relax and not think for a while and get out and just drive around aimlessly. Otherwise, it's best for me to give it to somebody else so that I can create more value. In addition, how are you spending your off time? Is that worth looking at? I know a lot of people that haven't really dialed in their value of their own time, and so they'll spend it in a lot of crazy ways. You see, I look at watching TV as a crazy way to spend your time. You want to go and watch a sporting event. Sporting event, let's say it takes 2 to 4 hours. 4 hours on a Saturday, you watch TV, you watch football all for 4 hours on Saturday. Great. Well, you're making, well, how much did we talk about you're making per hour? Maybe you're making $50 an hour. So wait a second. I spent 4 hours on Saturday, $50 an hour. That means that I just spent $200 watching football in my living room. Is that worthy of the $200? Is that worthy of your 4 hours of work? Would you trade it? Would you have chosen to spend $200 in that way if you're really that conscious of how much you're worth per hour? Now, for me, I've realized, so I spend a specific amount of time doing different things, and I value every moment. I actually pay attention to those components because I know how much I'm worth. And so when I spend the time just hanging out, and there are some people that don't understand this. What do you mean you don't watch TV? What do you mean you don't have the time on a Saturday or Sunday, or it's Friday night? Don't you want to take off? I said, yes, when it's worthy. So to take off to spend time with my wife, to spend time with my kids, worthy. To go and spend time aimlessly sometimes isn't worth it for me. Sometimes it's not what I want to do, not what I want to accomplish, not where I want to go. For each person, you've got to decide what's your time worth, and then figure out what to delegate. What could you delegate? Could delegate your doing errands and doing your laundry, cleaning your house. You delegate your accounting, very important. I would recommend that highly. Delegate odd jobs. There are certain things that take a certain skill set. To learn the skill set would be hours and hours and hours of your time, versus delegate the project. It's a one-time project, get it done, delegate it to somebody else, and pay them less than you're making per hour. You make $50 an hour. Whenever you find a project that the skill set charges less than $50 an hour, go for it. Delegate it. Have someone else do it so that you can focus in on what's valuable for you, what's valuable for who you are and what you want to accomplish. It's that type of thinking, it's that type of evaluation that has helped me quantum leap my income and create so much more. It is by really understanding, when I focus on this, I can create more. When I go and do that, I take away. I actually subtract from my income every hour I spend doing something else that is not, and here's the expression, the highest and best use of my time at every given moment of time. The highest and best use of my time. I see people, and here's a couple other last minute things I want to add. Some people get hung up. Oh man, I've got a free coupon. I got to go get it. And the free coupon will be for $5. But they'll spend money on gas, wear and tear on their car, and they'll even spend their own time. Now, again, they're earning $25 to $50 an hour. However, to drive to the store to get the coupon or do whatever they have to do to make that happen takes them half an hour or an hour to get that $10 coupon. Is it worth it? I want to challenge you that most of the time it is not. That you're spending time foolishly. That you'll go across town to save a couple bucks on an item because over there it's on special and over here it's not. Well, you start going across town, the time, money, in the time that it takes and the money that you're spending to get there just in hard costs, in the wear and tear in your car and the gas. And then the major factor is how much it's costing you in your own time and what's the value of that. So you start doing these equations. What's the value of saving some extra dollars? What's the value of going across town for that discount? What's the value of going through those extra hoops and to get a lower price? Realize most of the time you are wasting more time than you are getting in value from the time spent. I want you to get clear. The more you value who you are, the more you value what you do, the more you value your skill sets, and begin to process in this way that time is a commodity for you to protect. You do not get any more. The reality is the lights will go out someday. The reality is that your time will come, and when it does, will you be able to say that you lived your life to your fullest? Will you be able to say that you created magnitude in your life that was worthy of the time you spent? Will you be able to say that you did all that you wanted to do in this world? That you spent the time, money, resources in the right ways to create the right results for you, how you wanted to show up and how you wanted to live your life? If there's a question mark, if there's an unsurety with any of those components, I want you to really pay attention how you're spending your time, because the lights will go out. And when they do, there's no more time. You've got a finite amount of time, a finite amount of moments in your life, a finite amount of moments in your day. Make sure that you're clear with where you're spending them, how you're spending them, and what you're doing with them. This is Paul Finck, making the most of my time. The Maverick Millionaire here, hosting the Maverick Difference Radio Show. Till next time, everyone.
Thanks for listening to Paul Finck and the Maverick Difference Radio Show. You can listen to Paul live every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern and anytime 24/7 on RadiostarWorldwide.com.